Okay, so welcome everybody. We're on our next episode of Meet the Founders with VetCoin. Again, I'm Russ. I'm your host, one of the founders of the VetCoin Initiative and the VetCoin Foundation. And today I'm joined by Raf Bosch. Raf is also a co-founder, and we're going to have a conversation this evening and talk about what are the benefits of VetCoin and who really are we looking at with this initiative. So Raf, over to you. Please tell the audience a bit about yourself and your military career.
Excellent. I appreciate it. Nice to talk to you, Russ. As Russ had mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders as well. My name is Rafael Bosch, go by Raf, as Russ already mentioned. I'm an active duty Air Force officer. I'll be transitioning this summer, so that's pretty exciting for myself and my family. Speaking of my family, I've got a beautiful wife, 2 daughters. We reside down here in Tampa, Florida, where we also work. A little warm right now, but it's not too bad. Originally, I'm from Puerto Rico, so this is kind of nice to being closer to home than I typically have been, being stationed all over, being in the military. Currently, I work at Headquarters Special Operations Command, so writing policy and strategy. Alongside Russ, same cube farm, as I say. People think, oh wow, this place must be magical and beautiful, and I was talking to my kids the other day, and I actually counted. I have to go through 7 doors to get to my desk, depending on the entryway. So it's not as luxurious as some people think. But by trade, again, I'm an Air Force officer. So by trade, I'm a gunship pilot. So I've flown the AC-130 gunship for almost 19 years. It's retired now. We got the new variant out. So that's been an absolutely fantastic mission, going out and do what I got to do and love, supporting special operations forces with world-class close air support. That's been fantastic. Prior to getting here to sunny Tampa, I was in the sunny Panhandle of Florida for quite a while. I actually ran flight test operations for several years as a commander of a special operations flight test squadron, which was fantastic. It doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you come from. The type of stuff you get to see there is just next level. Got to work with SpaceX. We got to go to Kwajalein, the atoll out in the Pacific, Hawaii, White Sands Missile Range, shooting missiles, rockets, everything from aircraft to kit. So it was actually fantastic.
Yeah, but you have ties to Tampa, though, not just finishing your assignments here, but you've got some history with this town.
I do. I actually met my wife here. My undergraduate degree is at USAF, University of South Florida in Tampa. So my wife and I met there. I won't go into the whole story, but put it this way. I needed a lab partner pretty bad for the second time. I was taking Chem 2 lab twice. And time to pair up for lab partners. I'm like, all right, I need to find someone that, looks awesome and is super
smarter than you.
Yes. Yeah. So that's how the whole thing started. But so we have ties here. Tampa's an absolutely great town, and it's nice to be back and hopefully stay here, a little longer. So
that's awesome. So yeah. I've always been fascinated by the gunships. We've often referred to them as the airborne ranger in the sky, providing overwatch. There's other, meanings to the ranger in the sky, but one of them that we used to talk about is the Spectre. Get spooky up there. He'll take care of you. You just need that little patch on your helmet so he knows where not to shoot.
Yep.
And super accurate. That's a great platform.
Yeah.
So I'm interested then now, all those flight hours, all those places you've been, what sticks out to you? And you're about to retire, colonel in the Air Force. You've done and seen a lot of things. So what's something that sticks out to you from your military career that you'd like to share with the audience?
There was one particular mission that, when I think back on thousands of flight hours I've got down there, and one particular mission, and then I'll tell the story, and at the end I'll kind of tell you why it sticks out for me personally.
Please.
So again, this is during the peak of the insurgencies, 07, right after Fallujah 2, I believe, which I was there for both, just crazy stuff. So we were supporting, just like any other night, supporting a special operations operation, some kind of hit of some type. I don't remember really, frankly. And as we're escorting the user to the target, I remember looking over my shoulder. And again, this is the peak of the insurgencies, like I mentioned, but it's also when our convoys were getting hit pretty bad with IEDs, roadside bombs. People were seeing that in the news, and it was just because these convoys are going day and night, moving logistics, things we need for the effort. And I remember we're escorting the users to the target. I look over my shoulder and I just see this long, these convoys are miles long, a lot miles long. This is all at night. So I look through my MVGs and I can see just a convoy, nothing atypical from any other night. I've seen them before. And, we escort the guys to the target. And I just kind of look over my shoulder again. I'm like, just something just didn't seem right. I'm like, so I send one of my sensors out. Hey, check it out. Just make sure we got some dead time here. Everything's secure on the ground. And then they say something, hey, we got something. I'm like, okay, talk to me. And I pull it up on my monitor, and two guys digging on the side of the road about 2 clicks ahead of the convoy, and they're coming in. Typical tactic back then, they detonate something, take out the first couple vehicles, and then the convoy would stop for miles, and then you would have some kind of assault on the convoy, hit and run.
Very vulnerable.
Yes, and never anything good. So we spent about 15 minutes trying to get them on the net, SINGARs, all the different radios. We couldn't get them. We couldn't talk to the battle space owner. It was just a confluence of events. We just couldn't talk to that convoy to let them know. They couldn't. There's no way to tell them. So we're faced with a decision. The operation was a high value target, and I had time. I kept looking over my shoulder. I had time before that convoy got there. So a little bit of a backstory also was in my aircraft at the time was my battalion commander. He was my fire control officer. And one thing about the Air Force is different from all the other services, maybe somewhat like the Navy, but once you're in the air, the aircraft commander is master and commander of the vessel, best way to put it. So I was a captain at the time, and my CO was in the back. It was a lieutenant colonel, senior lieutenant colonel, but it didn't matter. There was a pecking order on the aircraft, just for context. So we get on target. Assault goes great. Operators on the roof, which means this building's secure. And now I look over, convoy's getting close. And I remember Hire telling me, nope, your priority's staying where you're at. We're working something for the convoy. I'm like, okay. And I'm looking, they're getting close. And finally I just say, nope, off target. We knew the operators were secure. And I remember my boss in the back go, hey, pilot, that's not a smart move, coming from your boss, right? And I'm like,
right, yeah.
And at this point, you're in combat mode. It doesn't matter. Okay, he's just a crew member to me. I hear him and I'm like, all right, copy that, disregard, give me guidance direct, put gun 3 on the line. So our weapon systems are numbered 1, 2, and 3. Gun 1 is the Gatling gun. Gun 2 is the Bofors cannon. And 3 is the howitzer, the big guy. You know what I mean? Yep. And so I remember we're trucking in there as fast as we can. And I'm just telling them, hey, arm gun 3, put it on the line now, which means it's got a round in, it's up in battery, it's ready to go. And we roll in, and probably within, that convoy had gotten within, I don't know, 100 meters, which isn't far, maybe 75 meters to where these guys were. And at this point, the guys were, in barricade behind some kind of thing that they had built. But you can see where the disturbed earth was, and then the cables. It was just a picture, literally red-handed right there. And I remember thinking, all right, here we go. Like, I can't talk to these guys. They're getting inside of danger close. The convoy is. Yeah. This round's going to be accurate. It has to be. There's no question. And we put that 105 out. We use a proximity fuse. So proximity fuse means about 7 meters above the ground, about 21-ish feet. The warhead on the 105 shell detonates. It's got a little Doppler in the nose, and it creates about 8,000 pieces of shrapnel at about 20 feet, the size of your fingernail. So it's more anti-personnel and less for heavy vehicles, right? So put that prox out and immediately had secondaries off the ground. So there was definitely something there that we'd watched them dig, and the guys took off, and we, made quick work of that business. But I remember the convoy stopping, and they had no idea what was happening. They probably thought it was incoming mortar fire. They didn't know because we couldn't talk to them.
No idea.
Right? And at that point, we had to break contact. Business was done. We had to get back to the op because they were the priority. I was already in trouble with Hire, and when we landed, we finally got contact with these guys. And let me tell you, the gratitude, and just the feeling you got, and in Spanish, we have a phrase called se me paren el pelo, se me paren el pelo. It basically means, that the hair on your neck just stands up in your hands, and it was that kind of feeling when you get back, because you're in go mode and you're just getting after it. And to do something like that, because those guys were sitting ducks, right? And I remember my boss in the back of the plane, and I remember we landed. He was like, there's a lot of things that happened, but he was he's not an emotional man. And I remember that day he was a little bit, and I thought he was just going to hand us our butts, but nope. He was like, that was the finest gun shipping I've ever seen in my career. And at that point, he was pretty senior already. I was not. And that felt great. But more importantly was what we did with that ground convoy, because, bringing it all back around to what we're doing here at VetCoin, it's about, the unseen veterans, right? It's about those veterans that are out there that are just going about their lives, and they may need help. They may need assistance in some form or fashion, or they want to help others, right? But it's unseen veterans that we're here to help, right? Much like that night where these guys are just another convoy, right? That my hire was telling me, we'll figure it out, but I knew that it's not just another convoy. Those are Americans, those are veterans, they're serving our country. So kind of ties back into VetCoin, what we're trying to do.
I like that. You talk about the unseen veteran, because they tend to be the one that need the most help. And there you were, to help them out. And I'm guessing that you see a lot of similarities there with how we want to leverage the VetCoin initiative to support nonprofits that can help those that need it. And connecting people together with those services and nonprofits that, they're struggling and they need something. And if they can find it through VetCoin, then that's a win. That's a big win for us in my mind. So I'm interested if you want to continue to kind of talk about that a little bit, and about, what you do with the VetCoin Foundation, and what really attracted you to the project and got you really, excited about what it is, where we are, and where we're going.
Yeah. So, how I got involved, I'll start with that one. It's just,
That's the easy one, right?
Yeah.
Russ works right next door. We share spaces. Yeah.
No, it's, in staff college, they had a phrase that they used for when they were teaching us planning. It's called BOGSAT, BOGSAT. What's BOGSAT? Bunch of guys sitting around a table, yeah, pretty much what it was, right? Curious, curious and caring, right? We're curious about what the blockchain was, the blockchain economy, cryptocurrencies, tokens, what is this? And we're in the caring, just how can we give back, right? We're veterans ourselves, so we know the need is there, right? So how can we give back, and how can we structure that and package that in something that's never been seen? Because this has absolutely never been done the way we're doing it. And it's so leading edge, right? At work, we talk about operating at the tactical edge, right? This is the tactical edge for crypto and for charitable giving, right? This is absolutely there. There's no question about that. And as we add more and more to it, it gets even more exciting from where we started, right? But we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, so that it's been great, starting out with you guys back there doing BOGSAT sessions and talking about this in between taskers and whatnot. It's been fun, and I expect it to continue to be fun and outstanding. Again, as long as we help just one person, it's beyond work.
It is pretty amazing though, when you think about, like, it's just an idea, right? We're just kind of standing around, and I tell this story to everybody who's willing to listen to it. We're literally standing near a water cooler, and somebody's just like, "Hey, what about VetCoin?" And I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Aaron, so I'm going to attribute it to him. And Joey was like, "VetCoin, what's that?" And so he looks it up. Gets on the Googles, and he looks it up. VetCoin. He's like, "There is no VetCoin." We're like, "There could be. There could be." And everyone that I would talk to about it, I'd have a similar conversation. Before I would tell them anything about it, I'd be like, "Hey, I got a word, and I just want you to react to it." And they'd say, "What?" And it's like, VetCoin. And every time I would say that, they'd be like, I'm in, let's do it. So we knew that there was something about the idea, right?
Yeah.
But then we got to do it.
Yeah.
We got to go somewhere with this. So where do you see us going, and how do you like, what is that like, where are you like excited about the future of VetCoin?
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day. I was talking to someone, had dinner with someone last night, and they were asking me the same thing. Just kind of, because every time you talk about this, you create new connective tissue in your own mind, and you know how to, and it came down to three things for me, what I was talking about: exposure, education, and economy, right? So what we try to do is we try to expose veterans issues, or bring them to the forefront, because you have to, right? And you're also exposing veteran-owned businesses, because we want them to get out there. We want them to be successful, because if they're successful, we're all successful. Education. So when we started this, what does this work? A lot of Googling, a lot of YouTube videos, which now we have our own VetCoin bootcamp on the website. So please, everyone, check it out. Great videos by Aaron, Dr. Bazin, put together, very educational. So education, getting out there, again, teaching others, because there's such a huge economy out there, and that's the last thing I'll get to, but there's a huge piece out there that, sure, people can stumble through it, but what better way to do this than with each other, right? We've been downrange with each other. We trust each other. And again, this isn't veteran exclusive. This is anyone who supports veterans and wants to be involved, right? We can support each other in that aspect. So, but that education piece is key with that. And group learning is important, so if I may read something a different way than you may read it, right? And getting together and having those conversations. And then the last one, economy. So obviously the blockchain economy is here to stay. It just like the .com explosion in the 90s, right? Where we just radically changed how we buy, interact with each other with the internet and everything like that. This is it. This is the next evolution and how we interact with the metaverse. We'll talk about in a minute, but with how we buy and sell goods, how we invest, how we do financial technology with fintech, right? So that massive economy, is where, we will end up being, and trying to bring people in, because at the end of the day, if you're not caught up to what's happening, you're kind of left in the past, and we don't want that. We want to empower ourselves and veterans alike to move forward into this in this future.
Yeah, so I feel that I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by such diligent and smart people, and I also feel fortunate that I got to attend your promotion ceremony and meet some of your family. And I know that early on, you were fielding a lot of questions from them about how do I make it work? Why am I doing this? What's it for? And I get the same questions, right? Like my cousin called me up. He's like, I got the app. I don't know what to do. He was talking about the MetaMask for his wallet. So I remember you having some pretty colorful comments about like just your experience helping your family out. So if you could just kind of run through like, what kind of questions were they asking you, and how did you handle that? Because I mean, we talk about like when you explain something to somebody, there's different ways of doing that. And you would like to think that your family is the easiest people to talk to, but it's also the highest risk, because like the family's going to exist whether they're successful or not. So there, that can be a little, you can be a little cautious there, but I don't want to tell your story for you, but if you could share some of those conversations that you had with your, brothers, dad, cousins, etc.
Yeah. Just with any investing, you want to protect your friendships and your family, right? So you're always upfront with what they're, what they're wanting to get into, right? My family, again, Hispanic family from Puerto Rico, and very you're all in when it comes to a Hispanic family. There's no a foot in, foot out. No, it's all in. And they're very vocal, right? Good and bad, right? Fortunately,
I picked that up pretty quick.
Yeah. No, there are after that ceremony, after that promotion ceremony, people were Nick was coming up to me and was like, "Hey, can I rent your family for my
next ceremony?" Yep.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, maybe I got a business thing here. All right, we'll put it on the veterans portal. But no, but it's always good when you have a supportive family, right? Just like we all support each other here. And my family's no different, just like yours. I know yours has been pretty involved as well. And it was very helpful to step through a lot of this stuff with them, because we're able to find, oh shoot, well, this doesn't work this way. It has to be done this way, right? And just it's a good learning process for everybody, because Napoleon's corporal, the whole thing where, if the Napoleon's corporal can understand the orders, well, then his generals can, you know what I mean? So same thing, where we want to make sure this isn't some elite thing where people think, crypto and all that's for them, the pronoun people, the theys.
Yeah.
No, it's for everybody, right? And that's where family is good, because you get honest and at times brutal feedback, like what's going on. But that's what we need, right? That's what anyone needs to grow as a person, as a team, as an organization. You absolutely need that. So yeah, they were great. Some of the questions they would ask, frankly, my family, they trust Raph. I'm the guy who does his homework at the house, so they usually trust me. So that I'm like, oh, I don't know if you should, but no, they're fine. But no, frankly, a lot of the questions that they would send my way was from their friends, and those are the ones that I really perked up. And some of those questions were, and frankly, this is one that I get not a lot, but when people want to ask it, they'll ask it. Is this a scam? Okay, that's one question I've gotten several times. And obviously, we're doing events like this, right? You see our content on our website. We're active, because this is part of it, right? We want to connect with people. This isn't just something where we launch and forget. No, because it's about people. We want to give back, right? And part of that's connecting and personally connecting with people, right? Getting to know people, right? And some of the other things we've got built in, anti-whaling, just all these things are about that. So no, it's not, obviously not. Because again, you see our faces, you see who we are. We're not a nameless, faceless organization. We're trying to be out there as much as possible, right? The other one I get is people, am I going to get rich? And I always tell them, like, I say yes, and buy more VetCoin. No, but like any investment, if you had a little tagline at the bottom here that said, all risks and blah 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 blah. Ideally, sure, we all get rich, but again, just the value proposition is where we go back to, right? It's about empowering our veterans, right? Connecting, enabling, transforming, just like our website says. If we do that, and we all become rich anyway, just, by emotionally and physically helping other people, we become rich in different ways, right? And then the last one I get a lot of was, like, how do we give back, right? They hear VetCoin and they're like, oh, okay, so this is, how does this give back, right? How do we give back? They think it's a charity, and we are a nonprofit, and we do, that is, let me make that clear. We are a nonprofit, but different in the sense that, we're a crypto token that over half of our, transaction fees do go back to veterans charities, right? And we do have a roundup function in a wallet once we launch that's eligible or available for people to use. So typically those are the big ones I get. And, giving back is important to people, because a lot of people invest in crypto. But I think now we're getting to the point where, excuse me, so what and what next, right? Yeah, I can invest in Bitcoin or Doge or Shiba Inu, whatever the case is. But more and more people are asking, like, what's the so what here? And I think that's the big one we have as well is, veterans. It's they put their lives on the line for all of us, and now it's time just to give a little back. And you can invest and hopefully make a lot of money.
Yeah, I say similar things to people about VetCoin. And one of the things I mentioned is I'll tell them, like, if you look at our transaction fees, none of that turns into profit.
Mm-hmm.
We burn, we have liquidity, we have operations, we have charity donations.
Yep.
None of that goes to me. If I make money off of VetCoin, it's because VetCoin is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But what's valuable to me is the community piece to this, and providing an access point to the veteran community to take advantage of the blockchain and the cryptocurrency environment. And I'll tell people straight up, like, it's going to sound bad when I say this, but you have to understand the meaning. I don't care if you use VetCoin. I don't.
Yeah.
What I care about is that you get involved You learn, you're educated, you're capable, and you take advantage of the capital that exists. Hopefully that will include VetCoin. But if you decide that VetCoin is not the token you want to use, that's cool. Come help, make a connection with a veteran-owned business, make a connection with another nonprofit. That's cool too. I mean, to me, that's what the idea. It's the idea that's important, not necessarily the extrinsic. It's the intrinsic for me. So we've talked a lot about a lot of things. So kind of when we get towards closing out the conversation, what else do you want to share with folks? Whether it's, hey, I really want to tell you more about, the way that we connect, the way that we enable, the way that we transform through VetCoin, or just, when we have these conversations, I'm very curious personally about where's your passion in the VetCoin concept, and what makes it so important to you, and it's open to whatever it is.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. For me, where there's no wrong answer because it's all great, right? That's probably the best part. But no, for me is when I'm talking to people about this, and like you said, you just say the word and they immediately perk up, right? There's no pushing, there's no hooking them in. No. That happens automatically. And for me, I love seeing the light come on when I say, it's not just a crypto token, right? We're creating an economy, an ecosystem, right? For all of these things to happen, to connect, enable, transform veterans' lives through access to the blockchain economy.
Yep.
And when you walk people down that path of the this crypto economy, this ecosystem we're creating, you just see the wheels turning, and not a single person I've talked to has not had the light bulbs just constantly going off. Oh, I get it. Between the Vetiverse, where we'll have veteran-owned businesses portals there, services, everything inside the Vetiverse eventually once we, when we formally launch, but not a single person just doesn't get it. It's just so intuitive, right? Veterans, crypto, and these people don't understand crypto. A lot of them don't, right? But within 3 minutes, they're all in to all of it. And they're signing up for the newsletter, which if you haven't yet, go sign up if you're watching this. But
Thank
they're
you for
all
the
in.
plug. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Our author here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. But no, I think that for me is what I love, because I love people. I love interacting with people, and watching that light bulb come on with, man, that's right, this is bigger than all of us, right? How can I be a part of it? And asking those types of questions, not how much am I gonna make, no. It's what I get after I've just started talking is, what can I do, and how can I do it more of it, right? And I think for me that is what keeps me energized, is when we're out in these events and talking to folks and seeing it come back at you, the enthusiasm come back at you. It's like if you're doing it in a mirror, because that's what you're getting, and you really don't put a lot into it, because it just speaks for itself.
Some ways it does. I remember when you and I were at the Synapse Summit, people were coming up to our table. They would just see the sign, they would stop walking, and they'd look back, turn, what's VetCoin? And then we'd explain it to them. And then I remember a few people said, but I'm not in the military. I'm like, that's okay. He's not going to be in the military in about 3 months. I'm not going to be in the military in a couple of years. That guy's not even in the military anymore. So it's not like, we call it veteran because we care about veterans. We want to give back to the veteran community, but it's not exclusive to veterans. And I think that's a really important point that I think people that aren't part of the veteran community may feel like it's not for them, but that's absolutely not the case at all. It's for everyone. So I think I've just about run out of questions for our conversation this afternoon, this evening, this morning, depending on people who are watching it. So we'll close out. I just, hey, thanks for coming, Raph. It's great seeing you. I noticed you haven't been in the office the last few days. So we'll call it a day, and just let the viewers know, like, everything's on the website.
Mhm.
Our names are on the website, our pictures are on the website. All of our contact information is on the website. You can sign up for the newsletter there. You can learn about the Vetiverse there. All of our connections, whether it's LinkedIn, Telegram, Discord, YouTube, Facebook, it's all there on the website. It's a one-stop shop for everything related to VetCoin. You can even buy swag there. If you want to get a VetCoin
Yeah.
t-shirt, please do. The money that we get off the swag goes to nonprofits also. It's not, again, there's almost no, everything goes to overhead or nonprofits for VetCoin. So that's my final thought for this evening. Any potential last comments from you, Raf?
No, I appreciate you you moderating here today. It's been great talking to you again. You know, we talk often, but this is good. No, frankly, this is great because, well, we have a lot of these conversations internal to us. This is great. It gives people a window into our thought processes, which again, we're open to with everything we're doing. There's no, you know, everything's out there for people to ask and listen to. So this is perfect. Again, thanks, Russ, for doing this.
All right. Thanks, Raf. We'll see you at work, maybe tomorrow.